welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Let me see. First, a note at the top. So, if you're watching this live, you might notice a few changes to the feature set, to the sidebar and such. Yeah, we just turned on the affiliate stuff at long last.
We
Um,
legit now, boys.
you're not, well, more legit than before, I suppose, in the eyes of Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what that means going forward is, well, more calls to action since, that's activated now.
Yeah.
So,
More hitting the
yeah, so,
things.
yeah. Um, Maybe not so much to hit the subscribe button and more hit the get bits button or gift a sub button.
Well,
Um,
yeah, gift sub or just your own sub.
yeah.
We are
Well, it's like we
working,
don't
I
have,
guess we should also say we're working on emotes at the moment.
yeah. We're also working on custom sounds. This just happened last night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a full delineation about what this entails on the Wednesday show.
Mm-hmm.
But since this is our first broadcast using this shit, it would, we are mentioning it here and now. Anyway, so we've got 3 reviews up this week. We're supposed to have 4, but one of them has been postponed due to technical issues. Um, we'll see if that can be ironed out, but for right now, we've got the 3. The first of which is a game called In Other Waters. This is a unique narrative adventure sort of game, although, um, like, it's definitely unique. Like, I've not played a game like this. Um, and I don't know, it just seems it's going to be one of those years for a certain type of game. Because this is like the third kind of game that's getting really fucking experimental with narrative structure and video games. It's like see also our reviews on The Longing and Survive the Blackout. And there's another one in the queue that's doing some interesting things with narrative in video games, but we'll get to that in a few weeks. In Other Waters' case, this is a story about you are an artificial intelligence that is exploring and cataloging an alien world that's very watery. And you're doing this in tandem with a marine xenobiologist um, who is looking for her lost partner. What kind of partner? Not exactly elaborated on, but I suppose that that matters less than the fact that the other scientist lady is missing, and one of your goals is to track down the bits of breadcrumb that she left around to find her and or her body. It's like she may be dead. She may be dealing with unscrupulous forces. Let's say, that's part of the mystery here.
Man, I hate it when forces don't have scruples.
All right. Yeah, they tend to be bad. Like, yeah. So this is this is the story of Ellery Voss and her robot AI, which you are. It's kind of weird because the way the game unfolds is through Ellery's perspective, but you see this command console. But it is the AI that is actually moving out in the world, and that is represented like on the map. You can see it in the trailer and stuff here, like the little dot that moves, and like when you get to base, it's all abstract blueprints. If nothing else, the presentation, that's the thing that's really unlike anything else that I have encountered, because it's like, outside of like an educational game about oceanography, where would you find this? Um, and the answer is you wouldn't. So it does have that going for it. It can be a bit off-putting, and I'll be honest, I never really fully clicked with it. I think it was a little too impersonal. Like there's no um, on the ground sort of viewpoint. You know, there's no there's no direct connection with the AI. It's all you're moving the dots and the scanner like via like VR like a radar screen like and this is a subjective part of the review. It's like you may like this style a lot more than I did, but it's like I respected this more than I enjoyed it. Now, how things unfold is you go from place to place and you send out a sonar signal to either find other locations to connect, or to find xenological samples of the various life. Can't say if it's plant or animal, because we are dealing with like completely alien.
Yeah, it's alien. It doesn't have to be plant or animal.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be
it's like
Shipabekis or something.
Right. It is a bit odd to, because for perspective's sake, you are the alien, or you're the people who are coming onto this planet. These are the native species of the planet. Yeah. And it's mostly like stalks, but other sort of flora or fauna do show up later. And it's like the way you identify them is by gathering various samples. It's like whether it be a flesh sample, let's say, and then elaborating on that with a root sample, and they're located in different places. And that's one of the main goals of the game, to catalog the wildlife that is out there. But still, the main fork is to locate the lost professor, and that actually kind of plays out Metroidvania style of all things. And that's a bit of an odd statement, but the way it goes is like like there are chasms and shit that are too treacherous to traverse until you get the proper propulsion. That's an unexpected tongue twister. And that not only entails getting the proper propellers, the actual part, but you also need to get the right fuel. That where I left the game, because I kind of got stuck, was gathering like 4 bits of plant to concoct the proper amount of fuel in order to get through the next chasm. So, like I said, this game has a unique unfold structure. In addition to the scanning, there's the cataloging stuff. Let's see, I'm trying to remember the other 2 modes: the map mode and the retrieval mode. And I suppose that's about it in terms of the gameplay. Like, in terms of like real mechanics, it's decidedly simple. It's like there's no real skill testers here. Like, not even gathering the samples. When you do that, you just go to the sample screen, you scan. You use one of the analog sticks to do that, and then you hit left, right, and it'll just collect it for you.
Giving a great sense of envy to, I imagine, any actual marine biologist.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, man, it sure would be easy to do this if all I had to do was tell the computer to fucking do it.
Probably. Like, But like another thing that some of the samples have are they have effects on the world map. Like there's a I'm trying to like there's the sound stock. I'm trying to remember the name for it, but that emits a sound that will clear and open pathways, and it's got its reverse. That will allow stocks to grow so they can block powerful currents. And I suppose that's about as dynamic as the actual gameplay gets, but that's not why you're here. You're here for the story, for the the world. How much that appeals to you, I suppose. Not only depends on your level of patience with abstraction, but how much are you into biology, marine biology? Now, granted that's a bit more niche, but could float your fancy. Also worth noting, this game is a non-violence game, so how appropriate it is for children, though, that's a bit hard to say because it's telling a very adult story here, if I'm being honest. It's like because a lot of the hinting is that there's something nefarious going on, and once again the professor lady could not be alive. Like, not even you find the body. You should just not find it, and that's still you just presume they're dead. Let's see, audio. Real relaxing EDM stuff. It's one of those electronic deals that gives a sense of otherworldliness. Like I like the soundtrack well enough, but it's not one of those soundtracks that I would buy independently. And that's a good segue to pricing. So the game is out on both the PC and the Nintendo Switch platforms at a price of $14.99. Although it's got a sale right now, 10% off, $13.49. The Steam version has the Xenobiologist edition, which it's your standard goodies. It's the soundtrack, which is $7.99 on its own, and it's got the In Other Waters, a study of Gliese 667cc. That's the planet designation that you're on. It's your standard art book. A word of warning, from what I'm told. I'm not sure if I got the art book with this, but I do know that it's recommended that you play through the game before you read the art book, because it's one of those art books that spoils.
Good art books usually have spoilers.
Yes.
Art books without spoilers are usually frustratingly lacking in multiple areas.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of those art books that spoils basically the entire plot. So if you want to go down and buy this, that is a consideration. Like, anyway, let's see hang on, I'm off right. Yeah, here we go. Damn, I'm off the. It's like, the entire bundle is clocking in at $23. And that's a 30% price point off. Although I think that's a beginning thing, because it's looks like it's marked down usually for 25%. And I think I would recommend that you get the complete edition, the Xenobiologist edition. Certainly at the price of $23, the usual price of $32.97 might be a bit of a Kill the Swallow. And overall, I thought the game was pretty solid. Now, there are people who are raving about In Other Waters quite a bit. I haven't read any proper reviews about this game, but I have seen some blurbs, and it's getting some high marks across the board. You know, especially since it's a very relaxing game. It's one of those games you can zen out to. But like I said, in terms of like its mechanics and its story dissemination, all the objective stuff, it was fine. It's just I personally didn't like the presentation all that much. Honestly, it's like I liked, say, Survive the Blackout. What Survive the Blackout did more than Other Waters in terms of how it was doing narrative. But once again, that's a subjective opinion. Objectively speaking, this is a fine game that is worth playing. So, yeah, 7.5 out of 10 on the arbitration scale of arbitration. And yeah, that'll about do it for In Other Waters here. So be sure to tune in after the break, as Galax here will be reviewing Super Destronaut Land Wars. Or Super Destronaut Land Wars.